Hello, everybody. Happy Friday. We made it to the end of another week, and the Seahawks have made it to the end of another mandatory minicamp. 3-day minicamp. Yesterday was the final day. Final practices are in the books. So, once again, we'll go through what can be talked about and we'll see what is worth discussing from these minicamps. What did we learn? Who played well? Who played, period? Who stands out? What does Carroll have to say? We'll go through it all once again for the third and final time this week. Again, I want to stress Carroll is a by nature very positive person. He likes to heap praise on people. He likes to be very complimentary to his players. So you can't take everything he says completely seriously. That's why I say you got to be careful when he's heaping praise on a guy like Robert Nkemdiche, because it's easy to imagine that Robert Nkemdiche just ends up being another training camp warrior and we don't hear about him in the regular season. Maybe not even the preseason, but at the same time, we do what we can with what we have. So let's talk about what Carroll had to say and what was seen on the field by beat reporters. We'll start with the participation and attendance. Pretty much the same as it was the first 2 days of the camp. The only difference today, well, there were actually three. One was Carlos Dunlap was back after missing yesterday with an illness, so I guess it wasn't COVID. You can see him right here. He's wearing number 8, which is going to be weird, but we'll get used to it eventually. Also missing the minicamp today, or missing most of it anyway, were Marquise Blair, who sat out most things yesterday. Yesterday. Marquise Blair apparently just tweaked something a little bit, and they're being a little cautious with bringing him back because he's not even 100% rehabbed yet. So they're being careful with that. And John Ursua tweaked something as well. He set out most of the minicamp events yesterday as well. Other than that, everything looked good. Everything looked fine. Pretty much what it was the previous 2 days. So that's reasonably good. Let's get on to what happened out there on the field. All right, so one interesting note to take away from what we saw on the field today, or what people saw on the field today, not me, I'm not there. I wish I was, but I'm not. Penny Hart. So Brady Henderson tweeted this earlier today, or earlier yesterday, excuse me. The Seahawks' final practice of minicamp is over. The play of the day/week was Penny Hart's over-the-shoulder one-handed touchdown catch on a deep throw from Wilson. He made a couple catches later in 7-on-7 and had a strong day yesterday. A player to watch in their wide receiver battle. Carroll also had this quote on Penny Hart from Brady Henderson's Twitter as well. He's just had a spectacular couple weeks. So where is he in the competition? He's right in it. He made the club last year. We really can count on him. He can do a lot. He kind of lit it up out here. Now, in the excitement of bringing in some really appealing new receiver talent, Dwayne Eskridge, Tamorrion Terry, and Cade Johnson, you kind of forget about the fringe guys that we already had. And that's understandable. We've seen these guys and we know what they can do to a certain extent, and we know what they can do is very limited. We know what Freddie Swain gave us last year. It was okay. He did some nice stuff, but he's not some future Pro Bowl talent as near as we can tell. Penny Hart made a couple of plays for us on offense, and he's a good special teamer, but we don't see anything in terms of a future starting receiver there right now. So you kind of forget about these guys. But one thing that I came away from when reading what some beat reporters had to say and reading what Carroll had to say, Penny Hart has a chance to be at least a number 5 receiver who fills that role well in 2021. So Penny Hart, we know he's good on special teams. We know he has value there. And supposedly Wilson has a great bond with him, great relationship with him, knows how to find him, loves to feed him the ball in practice. So, hey, maybe Penny Hart will surprise us. And not necessarily as a number 5 receiver. I'm thinking about a little even beyond that, because I've talked about it before. Injuries to this receiver core are going to be a problem. So one other thing I heard from the minicamp yesterday was Tamorrion Terry on the final play of scrimmage caught a really nice touchdown pass from Danny Etling. And Cade Johnson also made a couple nice plays throughout the camp as well. Now, I don't want to get anybody too excited about something that happens in minicamp because it's minicamp. But if we can get credible snaps in theory from Penny Hart, Kate Johnson, and Tamorian Terry, or even just two of those guys, we don't really have big depth problems at receiver after all. Because I'm looking at it and I'm seeing, okay, Freddie Swain's your number 4. If he has to move up to a number 3 because of an injury, that's bad news. And worse than that, if you have another problem, then you're talking about Penny Hart, you're talking about the UDFAs. But if those guys are ready to go and can do something for us in 2021, then that's a big chunk of the problem lopped off. Carroll also had some things to say about Aldon Smith and his excused absence from Seahawks minicamp. Carroll said that he didn't feel ready physically. Smith is in Seattle and has been working himself back into shape. Just felt it was best for him at this point to just work out on his own. So he's been in the facility and out, but he's had a good impression that he's made on us right now, Carroll said. Smith is vying for a roster spot on a minimum salary deal. He's set to be arraigned on a battery charge next month. Now, I don't know. I don't know. I'm reading this and I can understand that Carroll may want to approach the Aldon Smith thing right now, pretending that it doesn't exist. Just pretending that, okay, he didn't get arrested, he isn't getting arraigned on a battery charge next month. We're just going to talk about it as if he's just another player who may or may not make this team. And I can understand that, but it can't help but get a little I can't help but get a little excited reading this, right? It sounds like he thinks this is not going to be an issue. And again, I think it could just be Carroll being a positive person, which, as I've said before, that's just the kind of guy he is. It sounds like he thinks Smith is going to be fine. It sounds like he thinks Aldon Smith will actually be able to play for us this year. Again, it's possible this just ends up being something that he says because he wants to assume the best. But I don't know. It doesn't sound like he's that concerned about anything right now. Again, I don't want to read too much into this because we'll know in a month. We're not going to know for a month. In a month, we'll have an idea. But as of right now, speculation abounds, and this doesn't sound like somebody who expects him to get kicked out of the league. So we'll see. One other thing from Carroll that I really liked. Carroll said Darrell Taylor had one of the best mini camps of any Seahawks defender and that he's probably their best prepared returning player, which look, you can blow smoke up people's butts sometimes, and Carroll certainly does that, but to call out Darrell Taylor specifically as their best prepared returning player, not just a player who is very prepared or extremely prepared, but best prepared, I feel like that kind of carries a little bit of weight. Taylor took part in the entire offseason program while most vets skipped the start. Last year's second round pick is taking on a hybrid role as a D end slash strong side linebacker after losing his rookie season to injury. He's an exciting football player, Carroll said. You can maybe see why we were frustrated last year that we didn't have him. I'll say it before, I'll say it again. I've said it before, I'll say it again. I like Darrell Taylor coming out of college. I liked him when we drafted him. So I like hearing this. This is something that I think is important. I know Darrell Taylor will probably not play more than 400 snaps this year if nobody gets hurt or if nobody, or, well, I shouldn't say that. If, if we don't have a bunch of injuries, but I feel like the impact he can make on this defense is significant, especially with the Aldon Smith situation hanging over our heads. So I really liked hearing this from Carroll. Other than that, there were a couple other lingering comments. Apparently Carson is going to be the number 1 running back. Penny's number 2. Collins is number 3, which surprises nobody, I think. Says that a huge focus throughout camp will be improving the third down percentage. Says the goal is to be at 50%. Said that the preseason is going to be Cody Barton's opportunity to show something at outside linebacker and Ben Burkervin to show something at middle linebacker. Indicating that guys like Bobby Wagner and maybe even Jordan Brooks, although I have to believe he wants to see Jordan Brooks some because he's only a second-year player. I have to believe that they're going to see a little bit of him, but it sounds like he's going to give Barton and BBK a chance to show something in the preseason, which is kind of exciting because this could be a put up or shut up year for both those guys, especially BBK, because it's really easy to imagine him not making the team if he doesn't play well in the preseason. Other than that, Pierre-Olivier Lestage had to have surgery for a sports hernia, so I think his chances of making the roster have gone way down. Carroll praised Shane Waldron. Of course he did, because of course he's gonna do that. He said that he's felt no urge to interject himself into the discussions of how the offense will be run. Well, hopefully that holds throughout the season. And that's pretty much it. He praised the tight ends, which is good to hear, but just kind of generic stuff. According to Ken Norton Jr., Benson Mayowa will have a primary role in the pass rush. I don't know exactly how that's going to work with the snap counts, but I'm excited to see it. This is where coaching can do you a big favor or set you back behind the eight ball. Can you utilize the mosaic of talent that we have? Because we got talent all over the place on this defensive line. No super duper stars, but we have a lot of really good players. How do we use them? And I think that's about it. So that's your 3 day mini camp. Got to see some good stuff from some reserve wide receivers yesterday, which is crucial because, guys, we can't count on all these guys playing 17 games. It's not realistic. We should honestly, I hate to say it, people are gonna kill me in the comments for saying this. It's kind of miraculous we've gotten now 35 starts out of DK Metcalf so far in his career. 35. Because that was a dude who had injury problems coming out of college, and he hasn't missed a game for us. So just saying, playing with fire there. All right. I will see you guys later today. Jamal Adams video coming later today. Peace out. Go Hawks. Let me know what you think down in the comments. And that's your mini camp.